Rely on the team spirit of Channel 2 News Saturdays at 6:30 and 11.
From ABC News, World News Saturday. Substituting for Carol Simpson, here's Barry Seraphin.
Good evening. Today brought three important political contests en route to next week's Super Tuesday showdown. There are Democratic caucuses in Arizona and Wyoming and a primary battle in South Carolina. South Carolina is the biggest prize. The polls are closed there now. And on the Republican side, ABC News projects that President Bush will win by a wide margin over Pat Buchanan, with David Duke finishing far behind. But our exit polls also show that Mr. Bush is still the target of a protest vote. Nearly 4 out of 10 GOP voters in South Carolina disapprove of the way he is doing his job. About 1/3 are upset that he broke his no new taxes pledge, and about 1/4 are upset about the poor economy. On the Democratic side, ABC projects that Bill Clinton will win in South Carolina by a wide margin over Paul Tsongas, who will be second. Clinton did well among one group that will be important on Super Tuesday, black voters, winning the approval of about 3 out of 4. Clinton is also the apparent winner of the Democratic caucuses in Wyoming. With 96% of the vote in, Clinton is in first place, followed by Jerry Brown. The next biggest vote so far has stayed uncommitted, with Senators Harkin and Tsongas bringing up the rear in Wyoming. With just 3 days left until Super Tuesday, the tension is growing, and the tone in the Democratic campaign is getting tougher, especially between the two front runners, Clinton and Tsongas. We have 2 reports tonight, beginning with Chris Bury in Florida.
Sponsored by...
In Miami today, the Democrats sat down for some polite talk about health care. But in the rougher venues of politics, the campaign took another nasty turn.
This is my opponent, Panda Bear.
Pander Bear. In his most acid attack yet, Paul Tsongas in Fort Lauderdale characterized Governor Clinton as a pandering politician who will say or do anything to get elected. Tsongas cited a Clinton promise during Thursday's debate to build more Seawolf submarines, even though Congress opposes it. Tsongas called that a ploy to get votes in Connecticut where the submarines are built.
Anybody who plays with people's passions in that kind of cynical way has no right to be running for president of the United States.
Now, if you want to talk about pandering, it wasn't me who went to New York and said that I'd be the best friend Wall Street ever had. It was Senator Tsongas.
In another blast yesterday, the former senator accused Clinton of describing the Tsongas economic plan as not American. Tsongas took it personally.
That language was picked specifically. It is code to say he's different, he's ethnic.
In fact, Clinton never used the term not American. This is what he said.
And we cannot put off fairness under the guise of promoting growth. It won't work. It's not America.
Today, Tsongas said he had reacted to an incorrect news story.
So if I'm at fault for that, I apologize.
You know, we've all had some long and hard days on this campaign trail, and we get frustrated and say things that we probably shouldn't say.
The Clinton campaign, confident of sweeping the southern states on Super Tuesday, blames this latest round of nastiness on sour grapes. In this race, it seems, the higher the stakes, the lower the road. Chris Bury, ABC News, Baton Rouge.
This is Judy Muller in Miami. The candidate they sometimes call St. Paul has undergone a political conversion. Paul Tsongas, who has always vowed to keep his campaign above the fray, arrived in Florida ready for a fight.
American people are going to find out through the rest of this campaign just how cynical and unprincipled Bill Clinton is.
That anger was not spontaneous. It was part of a calculated take-off-the-gloves offensive.
Some people will say anything to be elected president.
Tsongas' campaign advisors say his negative ads are simply a response to Clinton's negative ads.
If you see ads often enough and you don't respond, people believe them. We have no choice.
But it is not a choice Tsongas seems to relish.
I have to send a message. If you hit me, you're going to get hit back. It's pure and simple. Do I like it? No. Am I uncomfortable? I sure am.
If personal attacks don't come naturally to Tsongas, personal empathy is another story. When he tried to deliver a statement this morning about the death of a policeman from his motorcade, Tsongas choked up and left the room. He returned after he regained his composure.
My heart goes out to his wife, Diane, and his family. His death at such a young age will be impossible to ever truly understand.
Tsongas has always presented himself as the only candidate who does not engage in slick politics as usual. If he leaves that high ground to fight it out in the trenches, he risks losing the one quality that he says sets him apart. Which Paul Tsongas will be campaigning from here on out? At his last event today, a forum on health, Tsongas offered not a fist, but a handshake. Judy Muller, ABC News, Miami.
Former California Governor Jerry Brown picked up his first win this past week in Colorado. With it came his first flurry of attention from the press. But as Linda Patillo reports, the Brown campaign remains unorthodox and still in search of momentum.
While his opponent spends millions in the big Super Tuesday states, Jerry Brown has been taking the campaign trail less traveled, searching for the next state where his message might catch on. Where is the next Colorado?
We'll just have to wait. We're trying our best, and one is coming, but the exact time and place, we'll just have to wait.
Brown keeps trying to get off the fringes and into the fray. He has taken to criticizing Tsongas and Clinton at every stop.
Look at Bill Clinton, right-to-work state. It's a union-busting state, Arkansas, and remember that.
Briefly after Colorado, there was media attention, but soon it was back to the way it's always been. When your campaign is this no frills,
he just wants plain tuna.
It can be hard to get your message out.
You have Time Magazine in front of me. They have Bill Clinton, Tom Harkin, Bob Kerrey, Paul Tsongas, and they don't list your candidacy on that
Well,
page.
they will next week.
But there is still no money for television ads. Instead, he stops wherever he can to do interviews with small radio stations.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity.
This is the uncampaign, unconventional, understated, underfunded, and still unsure where the next big win will come. Linda Patillo, ABC News, Phoenix.
While the Democrats battle the campaign rhetoric is not exactly sweetness and light on the Republican side either. President Bush has been trying to fend off his tough-talking challenger, Patrick Buchanan, without alienating party conservatives. Here's White House correspondent Kathleen Delasky.
The president abandoned the campaign trail this afternoon for a different kind of race. He entered a bass fishing tournament.
3, 2, 1, cast!
He did not catch the big one and left for Washington 2 days earlier than planned. Advisors say he's done all the campaigning he needs to do for Super Tuesday.
It's not been easy out here, as you know, but we're going very well indeed. Making clear I understand the problems of this country. We've got good answers for it.
But the president's campaign still does not have a clear answer for how to deal with Pat Buchanan. At each stop, he asked voters to resist the politics of hate and racism. Today, he denied that these are thinly veiled references to his upstart challenger.
And when I speak out against hatred, bigotry, anti-Semitism, racism, it's not aimed at anybody. It's aimed at values that this country really has, whatever side of the aisle you're on.
Buchanan is taking the jabs personally and says that Mr. Bush should not be shunning the politics of hate and race because, he says, the president used it himself in the last election.
I'm not surprised. Whenever Mr. Bush is in trouble, it's always Willie Horton time.
Both candidates are trying to distance themselves from David Duke, who was on the ballot in South Carolina and many southern primaries. While he doesn't threaten the Bush campaign, he could eat into Pat Buchanan's protest vote. Clearly, the president is not worried about the nomination, or he wouldn't have left the Deep South today while Buchanan pressed on through 3 states. Bush advisors have concluded that it doesn't really matter whether the president campaigns at this point. Either way, they say, the protest vote will continue at around 30%. Kathleen Delasky, ABC News, Montgomery, Alabama.
Republican National Committee Chairman Richard Bond and Democratic presidential hopeful Paul Tsongas will be the guests tomorrow on This Week with David Brinkley. Coming up, the Navy prepares to intercept a shipment of Scud missiles reportedly headed to Iran. Hundreds die in the fiercest fighting in years in Nagorno-Karabakh. And later in this broadcast, the post-Olympic popularity of hockey's Ray LeBlanc.
World News Saturday, brought to you by Scalpison.
I use a shampoo for dandruff, but my scalp still itches like crazy.
You need new Scalpicin, the revolutionary scalp medicine for deep scalp itch, not ordinary dandruff. Scalpicin is not a shampoo. It's a clear liquid you don't wash away like shampoo. Apply Scalpicin anytime for deep scalp itch relief with medicine chosen by doctors over all these dandruff shampoo formulas. Scalpicin penetrates to relieve the itch and help prevent flaking.
The itch is gone.
New Scalpicin, the scalp medicine for deep scalp itch.
I'm a 5, William Hines.
I'm alive, Michael Hines.
For a free list of cars with airbags, see your Allstate agent.
There's a new way to doctor a cough. Robitussin cough drops.
Try this, it's new.
With an active ingredient that speeds soothing relief to your cough.
Try this, it's new.
New Robitussin cough drops from the cough experts.
Pentagon officials say the Navy is prepared to intercept a North Korean freighter that's believed to be carrying advanced Scud missiles to Iran or Syria. President Bush would not say today whether he plans to give the intercept order, but said he is keeping his options open. The U.S. could stop and board the vessel under the terms of the United Nations embargo of Iraq, even though the freighter is not bound for Iraq. More than 200 people reportedly have been killed in the disputed Central Asian enclave of Nagorno-Karabakh in just 2 days. 2 former Soviet republics are battling for Nagorno-Karabakh, Armenia, whose people populate the enclave, and Azerbaijan, which has controlled it for almost 70 years. As David Ensel reports, the conflict is now bloodier than ever before.
Relentless bombardment by Azerbaijani forces of the Armenian town of Askeron, which stands between them and their goal, Khojaly, an Azerbaijani town now held by the Armenians. Askeron was ablaze today. Retreating Azerbaijani troops said some of their number are already in the town and that they plan to take it soon. The reason, they say, is this: the massacre of scores, possibly hundreds of Azerbaijani civilians in and around Khojaly last week. Their bodies still lie in the fields.
As you know, Khojaly is a massacre. Armenians was a massacre. It's a great tragedy, not for all Azerbaijan, but I think for humanity.
Sattar Yagubov is a doctor working at a makeshift field hospital in a railway car. This man was wounded trying to retrieve bodies. As this war escalates, there are more and more of them on both sides. Agdam used to be a safe place. It is not in Nagorno-Karabakh. But with the Armenians gaining ground, it is now within range of their artillery up there in the snow on those mountains. Both Armenians and Azerbaijanis say they want this war to end, but neither side wants to make concessions for peace. In this house last night, Erman Mamyadov lost a brother. His grief is beyond words. David Ensor, ABC News, Agdam.
After my heart attack, my doctor prescribed a regimen of exercise, eating right, and Therapy Bear enteric aspirin. Enteric means it's safety coated so it doesn't dissolve till it's past your stomach.
Therapy Bear enteric aspirin.
Dear Thompson's, I swear by Thompson's Water Seal. But recently, when it ran out, my son finished with another brand. Then it rained. What a difference. Thompson's beat it up, the other brand nothing. Thanks for a product you can believe in. Marvin Snoddy, Locust Grove, Virginia.
We built this business.
I hit the brakes. You know they're anti-lock brakes. It was close, but we stopped in time.
Built this business.
Every year they plant new trees. Dad says they make good things from trees.
After my accident, they advanced my insurance benefits and built me a ramp and got me back on my feet.
We built this business to build your dreams.
This is a day I will never forget.
Think about your daydreams and what you would do if you won 10 million out of the blue. Oh my God! Miracles can happen for you. Publishers Clearinghouse, the house where dreams come true.
Imagine a rent-a-car company that offers special delivery right to your door. That's Enterprise.
Here, let me help you.
Enterprise, a special rent-a-car company that gives you special delivery.
A cold starts small, but before you know it, your cold is full grown. Maximum strength Dimetapp relieves sneezing and congestion. 12-hour Dimetapp Extend tabs, relief for the full-grown cold.
In Columbus, Ohio, a maiden voyage is underway involving a bank that's been testing the financial waters in previously uncharted territory, inner-city neighborhoods. Sheila Cast reports that the experiment has been so successful, other big banks want to get in on the act.
At New Salem Baptist Church, parishioners are looking beyond spiritual blessings.
We're trying to move our people from a rent mentality, from making somebody else's mortgage payment, to an ownership mentality.
But how to make that move when banks often ignore inner-city residents, and they have learned to do without banks? This old-line conservative lender, Huntington, has teamed up with 3 churches to address that problem, committing $25 million to what it calls community-centered banking.
It's an approach that transfers some of the trust the community feels in its churches to Huntington Bank.
Mater, M-A-E. People who may never have had a bank account still qualify for bank ID cards that let them cash checks. They are assigned personal bankers who help them apply for loans. And they crowd seminars on how to plan a budget and qualify for a loan.
Once you've decided that you want to buy, the next step is determining how much you can afford.
There were so many skeptics because the banks, for years hadn't been responsive to the community at all. Once the program started and we started having some success stories and whatnot, I think the majority of the people that I've met are believers.
Martha Holt is a believer. She is a piano teacher, mother of 4, and widow, who for years had paid cash for almost everything, including her house. Last year, she needed a loan, and several banks turned her down.
I'd never involved myself with any banks. So they were scared, I guess, that they didn't know too much about whether I would pay, I guess. I really don't know.
She needed the loan for her son's medical bills. When she heard about Huntington, a personal banker worked with her to straighten out her credit history and approved the loan. Huntington used to think there was little market value in these neighborhoods until the Federal Community Reinvestment Act forced them to look again.
We found out that, sure enough, there is a lot of profit to be made there. They're hardworking, bill-paying people. You know, that's the bread and butter of American banking.
There are new bonds of trust between the bank and the churches, and now banks in other cities are asking how to do the same thing. Sheila Cast, ABC News, Columbus, Ohio.
In a moment, from minor league obscurity to certified celebrity.
Word on the street was they were a bad bet. An American institution 3 days shy of extinction. Only one investment firm, Dean Witter, saw past the problems to the real value of the company. And a rumble was heard round Wall Street as the last American motorcycle company came roaring back to life with a listing on the New York Stock Exchange. From Main Street to Wall Street at Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
People loved the old type of granola because it was loaded with great taste. They didn't know it was also loaded with fat. Introducing a new type of granola. New Kellogg's low-fat granola with a new granola type. All the delicious whole grains, almonds, and raisins you love, but only half the fat of leading granolas. So if you like the great taste of granola, but don't want all the fat, try new Kellogg's low-fat granola. Great taste, half the fat.
Ace is a place for helpful hardware folks and Best Buys like these.
Ace 5-star latex flat wall paint is $7.77 a gallon, and these Rubbermaid laundry baskets are only $2.88 each.
Ace Best Buy.
Another reason Ace is the place.
For you.
Nice try, Ginny. What's wrong? Oh, you have arthritis? Me too. It's hard to grip your racket, isn't it? Here, my doctor told me about this, Motrin IB. It's the same medicine as in prescription Motrin in non-prescription strength. It's great for minor arthritis pain. And one Motrin IB works as well as 2 regular aspirin. Try it. You'll have the Advantage next set.
Motrin IB, the relief of Motrin.
in non-prescription strength.
Don't get hit by an annual fee. Carry the card that doesn't charge one. And keep yourself out of the hole. It pays to discover.
Time now for sports. Ray Gandolf is in New York with a look at a post-Olympic reality fix for hockey's Ray LeBlanc and, of course, today's sports highlights. Ray?
Thank you, Barry. Seton Hall has finished the regular season in the Big East in a three-way tie, but has won the title on the basis of head-to-head competition. The Pirates almost blew an 18-point lead today against one co-leader, St. John's, but Terry DeHare led them out of the wilderness with 24 points. Bo Jackson's baseball career is in serious jeopardy. His agent has confirmed reports that the Chicago White Sox have asked waivers on Jackson, who just can't run well anymore because of an old hip injury. Ray LeBlanc, the standout goalie of the U.S. Olympic hockey team, is back in the real world. And so far, the real world is treating this career minor leaguer just fine.
Grabs up on to Kovalenko. A shot nailed by LeBlanc, and he hangs on.
Everything that was shot at me, I could see very well. Everything's impossible to stop.
Marvelous action in the goal.
Ray LeBlanc stopped almost everything. 50 saves on 55 shots against the Russians, the Olympic champion unified team.
I was just stopping one shot at a time. I try not to say to myself, I'm invincible or anything like that.
Invincible, no. Amazing, yes. In the bronze medal game against Czechoslovakia, LeBlanc was replaced in the final period of a lost cause. He had led Team USA to a fourth-place finish and recorded 2 shutouts along the way. Still, it hurt.
I realized when I was going off the ice, it's over. That's it. But everything has to come to an end. I was kind of sad because I didn't really want to leave, in a sense, because I felt, I was helpless. And unfortunately, that's part of the game.
Currently tending goal for the Indianapolis Ice, Ray LeBlanc has been playing minor league hockey for the past 11 years, ever since he dropped out of high school at age 16. In his first post-Olympic game, a win over Kalamazoo the other night, LeBlanc was back on the bus. A 4-hour ride from Indianapolis to Kalamazoo, a 3-hour game, and a 4-hour ride back home.
Going to have to pick him up at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not fun. But it's his career, and it's what we have to live with. Who's that?
That my dad.
Now it's harder with 2 kids. They want to be with him a lot, and they missed him a lot when he was with the Olympics. But, hopefully we'll be able to spend summer together, camping and having fun.
LeBlanc has spent the past few summers pumping soda pop at a Pepsi-Cola plant. He won't be doing that anymore. A certified celebrity now, with fans flocking around him, LeBlanc has hired a manager to sort out various commercial offers while he endures his moment in the sun.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, he's got to go.
I don't think I'm a celebrity. I don't know. I just don't feel that way. I take everything in stride, and it's great that how things turned out for me, but right now I need just to focus on hockey and finish off this season on a good note and hopefully play a few games in the NHL.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the NHL have promised to call up LeBlanc before the end of the season and give him at least 1 start. And he won't even have to ride the bus to Chicago. Barry?
He's earned that. Thanks, Ray. When we come back, 1 minute and 51 seconds to the best-made bed in the world.
After my accident, they advanced my insurance benefits and built me a ramp and got me back on my feet.
People really care. It meant a lot to us.
It was the global telecommunications link-up they built. Saved the negotiation.
We built this business to build your dreams.
My hemorrhoids hurt so much, I was afraid I needed surgery. But my doctor said they weren't serious, and it's time I used Preparation H.
Preparation H helps shrink swelling of inflamed hemorrhoidal tissues and often relieves pain, itching, and burning for hours. Doctor recommended Preparation H.
And now, from the makers of Preparation H, with a formula developed by a surgeon, comes new, soothing, alcohol-free Preparation H cleansing tissues. They clean and refresh after hemorrhoid attacks. New cleansing tissues from the makers of doctor-recommended Preparation H.
Sunday on This Week with David Brinkley, a preview of Super Tuesday. Paul Tsongas on whether his pro-business liberalism will attract or upset Southern Democrats. Sunday.
Finally tonight, it's every athlete's dream to make it to the big show, to pit strategy and skill against the very best competitors their sport has to offer. That dream came true in New Orleans recently for a single-minded group of competitors who won't take a challenge lying down. Here's Charles Murphy.
The 1992 National Bet-Making Association finalists.
It's a moment in sports history. 8 of the best bed makers in America got ready to go head-to-head and bed-to-bed. It was a way of recognizing the unsung of the hotel-motel business. Ruby Allen has been making beds for Marriott 16 years. She could do the hospital tuck blindfolded. Margie Payne says you got to keep it tight.
By everything being tight, you ain't got no bumps, no humps in your bed. Everything is smooth.
Each day, 1,960,000 hotel and motel beds are made up. Everyone wants a spiffy-looking room. Super 8 Motels had an idea. Bring the best of its 5,000 bed makers to New Orleans for an Olympiad, for, well, you know.
The thrill of victory to the agony of defeat.
The current record is 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Can the 2-minute mark be broken? Dick Bright with the play-by-play.
Oh, look at that sheet. It's just not fluffing. Oh, and a lovely drop. A lovely drop. Sometimes those sheets just don't go the way you want them to go. Oh, look at that. Oh, a triple flip. It's a triple flip. It's a triple flip on the sheet.
Margaret Yeaties of Menominee, Wisconsin.
You just got to get enough air in those sheets so they can fly out. And then they just lay perfectly.
Let's see it again in slow-mo. Here's Deb Snyder with analysis.
Most of them are having the problem with the spread, and very few good spreads are going on the beds today.
The contestants fret as the judges check for wrinkles or a crooked spread.
Tina is the winner.
In the end, Tina Edge of Springfield, Illinois, set the new world's record, 1 minute, 51 seconds. She got a new car, and the company got a big morale boost.
You make 10, 12 rooms each day, clean the bathrooms, make the beds. That's tough work, and those people have never been recognized.
This is world-class competition, but only in America. Now, is this a great country or what? Charles Murphy, ABC News, New Orleans.
That about covers it. And that's our report on World News Saturday. I'm Barry Seraphin. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
From Washington, this has been World News Saturday.